Last time, the message was ऊंचा कूके तन्हे पछाड़े, माया मोह जोया जमकाल है। माया मोह इस मने नाचाए, अंतर कपट दुख पावने-aa। Those who are in the grips of these sensual delights, those who are connected with the outside world, they think they are living and enjoying the life because that's what they have been taught. That's how they have grown up. That's what they have learned. Neither the parents nor the social environment nor the universities or colleges have indicated anything different. So what they do? Ucha kuke. They yell and scream. Ucha means loud. Kuke means to yell. They scream and yell. And that is their definition of enjoyment. Is it not? I have asked many times young people, tell me the difference between watching a game on the television versus actually going to see it live. And unanimous response, there's excitement over there. There's so much noise. There's so much yelling. Okay, who are you yelling for? Our team. Okay. Now there are people sitting over there who do not like your team. Is that true? Yes. So, some are yelling for the team and some are yelling against the team. Does the player care about it? Does he listen? Can he differentiate from the noise? Oh, Daddy, you are old. You just don't understand. That's their definition of excitement. Look at today's culture. Within the United States, I have noticed this very continuous but slow transition from the symphony orchestra at the Radio City Music Hall and Broadway, which was considered to be an achievement for an artist to be able to play the Radio City Music Hall or the Broadway. Today, the best music available that sells the most is the rap. And what do you find in rap? What's exciting? You ask any kid sitting over here. We can dance to it. And there's only one beat, single beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the only beat. Because that's the only beat the kids know how to dance. You ask them, can you waltz? And he said, if you want to dance, can you dance to an orchestra? No, but they can certainly put their own selected CDs, and what is important? The noise, and that is considered entertainment. These words were written 500 years ago. They were true then just as they are true today. Noise is the entertainment. Suddenly, Punjabi Bhangra is craze of the entire Western world. The drum, the big drum. Why? Beat, the noise. Poetry be damned. And philosophical ideas be damned. Just beat the drum and let me dance, and I don't care about anything else. No melody, no serious thought in the wording. As a matter of fact, it is better if you don't hear the words. They are so repulsive. There is nothing redeeming in it. But that's considered living. Ucha kuke tane pachade. Tane means the body. Pachade means the damaging. As if they are burning the candles on both ends. They don't realize it. The day the young ears are not being trained for anything of a finer quality. They have no ear for the proper sound, proper melody. If you ask them, have you ever heard Beethoven's 9th Symphony? It is a foreign language now. Who's Beethoven? What is a symphony? What do you mean C major? Have no sense. Can you imagine these young people getting to the age when they are going to be sitting in a rocking chair, and what are they going to ask? Put on the 80s rap, I'm going to make your bitch. Is that what they are going to listen? Ask them. No sense. And the parents can try as hard as they want. The peer pressure is so much. If they stop them, they will download from the internet those very songs, rap music. They'll put on their own iPods and they'll stick in their ears, and the parents cannot be wiser. What are you listening to? And the message is being given, Ucha kuke tane pachade, damaging the mind and the body. This is the time to develop the mind, to develop those sensitivities of a finer music. How to tune an instrument to a specific note. But if you don't know the difference between the sharp and the flat note, how are you going to tune the instrument? But the rap doesn't require that. Rap does not require any voice, any sound production technique. It doesn't require. You should only know how to recite the poetry to a specific beat, and that is it. That's a total requirement, which by the way is instinctive. Every individual sitting here, trained or not, can clap to a beat, and that's all is required. Learn to read the poetry to the beat. You become a rapist. Not a rapist, a rapist. Even though they are raping the music, they are raping the poetry, they are raping the art, but they are selling the most. Not only in the United States. You go to any club in New Delhi, and that's the dance they are playing. Total abuse of all of the finer qualities. Music is road to the spirituality. Music is the purest form of meditation. When I went to my teacher for the first time, and he told me, sit down here and put your voice to this single note till I come back. So I put my finger on the harmonium, on that note, and I started doing my practice as my teacher told me. He did not come for 3 hours. But a miracle happened, which I didn't know. Till today I remember that. And the miracle was, because for 3 hours I was only focusing on a single note. I went to the meditative spaces. He came after 3 hours. He wants to pull me out and say, go to the next note, and I cannot go. He's saying, go to the next note. The voice just does not follow my command. For all of the day, I left the home, went to the office, in the office, worked all day. That single note stayed with me. I came back. I couldn't get rid of the note. At evening at 8 p.m., my teacher is sitting down with me and say, let's go to the second note, and I'm saying he's going to stay with me for a while now. I discovered a secret. You can go to the highest level of meditation focusing on a single note. That was my experiential awareness, which became more and more and more concentrated with me. This memory is more than 50 years old and it's still with me. We are not at all sensitive to these things. Today's children think learning music is a punishment. Most of you know. Most of the parents try to put their children to some music or piano or guitar or something. Do your practice. But they don't understand. This is not for now. 50 years from today, you will appreciate that training of the ear. If you stay with the noise, what will happen? Maa-i-aa moho johya jam kale. Maya means the illusionary world. Moho means the attachment. Joha means you are absolutely chained. You are tied up in knots. Then getting out of it becomes much more difficult. Joha jamkal, time and space. You get bound by the time and space. When you are bound by time and space, what happens? Maya mo is banee naachai. Then your body is not the only thing dancing. Now your mind is also dancing. Meaning, the thoughts. Multiple thoughts start floating from one to the other without any connection, without any link. You just jump from thought to thought to the thought. That is what the noise is about. The definition of noise is random notes. Maya moh is banee naachai. Illusionary world dance makes the mind dance. Antar kapat dukh paavni-aa. Now, inside is getting tortured. From the outside you may look very, very happy and healthy and quiet, but there is no peace inside. Why? Because the thoughts are not quiet. The mind is not silent at all. And you sit for meditation, mind starts running. And the ideas and the thoughts from the past to the future, from the past to the future, like a pendulum of a clock. Either the mind is thinking what happened, or is imagining what can happen or will happen. It will not stop in the present, which is, you are meditating. Be quiet. That foundation has been destroyed by the multitudes of noise from all dimensions, from all directions. And we never detach ourselves from it. When we come from the work, our basic activities are also same kind of noisy. We don't take a philosophical book. We rather have a fiction or romance or turn on the TV and watch the situational comedies. No habit of saying, I need to quiet this mind down. Let me pick up an activity which slow my mind down. If I do not have a hobby that can do that, then let me just sit quietly, doing nothing. We can't even take a walk outside with a quiet mind. We notice every change that's happening in the neighborhood. Or when we go to the same park, we'll be watching different trees and different animals, and we'll wait looking for the birds and the squirrels and all that. Not detaching from the outside world at all. So we are feeding the mind of varied thoughts, and what they do? maa-i-aa moh is banee naachai antar kapat dukh paavni-aa. Keep on feeding more fire into the painful process. How do you get out of this? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. You have to conscientiously make that choice. Nobody is going to force you. Nobody is going to command you. Nobody is going to demand it from you. If you are not tired of this noise, good luck. Someday you will look back. Certainly not today, but someday. Every single human, whether that human is 10 years old, 50 years old or 100 years old, before this individual drops this body and move on to the other dimension, this thought will come. No exception to that rule. How do I quiet this mind down? We are being invited to that process. Now, today, this moment. What is that process? Gurmukh bhagat ja aap karaa-ay, tan man raataa, sahj subhaa-ay, bani vajai, sabad vajai, Gurmukh bhagat thaa-ay paavni-aa. That's the process. Tried, tested, packaged and delivered. Not by one person. Not at one time and space. Not at one age of the body. But for 250 years, numerous individuals tried this. Some started at the age of 12. Some started at the age of 25. Some started at the age of 62. Some started right from the birth. But everybody proved the technique to be the real one. And what is that? Gurmukh bhagat ja aap karaa-ay. With his blessing, with his grace, you get into meditation. Bhakti means meditation, to remember him. Gurmukh means learning from the master. Gur means the master. Mukh means what comes out of his mouth. Pay attention to that. With that, put it into practice. But when you are putting it into the practice, watch your ego. Because it will immediately say, I am doing it. I am better than you. I am doing it. You are not. Watch that. Remind yourself. What? What should I remind? Gurmukh bhagat. The meditation is being done because ja aap karaa-ay, because it is his grace. He is doing through me. I am the vehicle. No more. When you get into meditation with that attitude, this is the transformation that takes place. Tan, man, raataa, sahj, subhaa-ay. Tan means the body. Man means the mind. It slowly starts moving toward sahj. Sahj means equipoise, stopping at the center. The movement stops, slowing down. It starts stopping at the center point. The momentum is getting lesser and lesser and lesser. A time will come when the momentum will be completely gone. Mind will not move. It will stop. When will it stop? Bani vajai sabad vajai Gurmukh bhagat thaa-ay paavni-aa. A time will come when all of your effort, thaa-ay paavni-aa, will be accepted. It will be blessed. It will be honored by the higher self, by the higher forces. They will see your sincerity of purpose. But that's the key. Sincerity of purpose. Not the mouth is saying something else, mind is saying something else. It will not work. Don't make it a ritual. Meditation is not a ritual that you sit down at a certain time and you bow this way and you bend that way and you do this and you do that. That is yoga. Go do exercise. Bending this way, that way is good for your body. But that's not the objective. That doesn't mean that this process is saying don't bend your body. It's not saying that. It is saying pay attention to the mind. It is the mind that needs to slow down, to stop from wandering from one thought to the other. And if you are going with that intention, it will be recognized. How can he recognize every individual? Because he is inside every one of us. That energy is watching from within, from every one of us. Omnipresent. The Creator is not sitting on the ninth heaven. There's a beautiful joke that Rajneesh used to tell. That somebody came to him and said, I have read that it is on the ninth heaven where God is sitting. He said, yes, I know when I was going to the 13th heaven, I saw him. I met him on the way. How childish. How naive. In today's world of science, where the science is saying they have mapped the entire universe up to 13.3 billion light years. That's how far they have seen. They haven't found a ninth heaven somewhere or a 13th heaven somewhere. These are not physical in nature. Get this out of your mind. Creator is here, now, inside, outside, upside, sideways, everywhere, omnipresent, inside you, inside me. And He is observing, He is all-knowing. And whatever is going inside, if it is the truth, you will be honored. If it is a drama, He also understands that. Then continue. baho taal pooray vajay vajai, na ko sunay na man vasaa-ay, maa-i-aa kaaran pirh naachai, doojai paa-ay dukh paavni. But that's not what is happening in the world. What is happening? Baho, taal, pooray, vajay, vajai. Taal means a rhythm. Vajay means a musical instrument. Everybody is singing their own song in their own way with their own instruments, and they think they are meditating. And you see that when you go on any mandir, or I don't think the masjid does that, but mandir and churches do this very, very effectively. Gurdwaras do it very effectively. They sing a lot with the different instruments, on different compositions, different notes. And they consider it to be meditation. No, it's not meditation. What is it? It's an entertainment. It's a food for the ears, not for the soul. Because if it was food for the soul, just as I gave you my example, it would not leave you. Your inside will be vibrating with that frequency. That's called a resonance. Those of you who have read the theory of sound, they know what is the resonance. You take one string and you pluck it. It starts vibrating and produces a sound. You put another string next to that string. If the natural frequency of the second string matches the natural frequency of the first string, the second string will start vibrating without any effort. That's called resonance. That's what happens to the heart. When it receives the soulful energy, it vibrates with it. That is what the Western world call love at first sight. What's love at first sight? How do you fall in love with somebody just by looking at it? The natural frequency emitted by this persona matches with the natural frequency of this persona. Both are in love instantaneously because they are vibrating with the same frequency. That's resonance. But that's not happening in the world. What's happening? Baho, taal, pooray, vajay, vajai. Varied type of noise. Na ko sunay na man vasaa-ay. Nobody pays attention to it. Nobody takes it to heart. Na ko sunay. Nobody listens. Na man vasaa-ay. Neither let it go to the heart, because it's not meant for heart. When the heart vibrates, you go into ecstasy. That's what the Sufis do. When they are twirling, a stage comes. When the body consciousness disappears, only the movement remains. The dancer has disappeared, only the dance remains. That's resonance. That's why dance is considered to be one of the finest techniques of meditation. But not dancing to the rap. It's not a romantic dance. It is not to excite the senses. It is to slow the senses down. It is to quiet them. Na ko sunay na man vasaa-ay, maa-i-aa, kaaran, pirh, naachai. For the illusionary, excitement, short-lived excitement. The bondage keeps on getting tighter and tighter. Doojai, dukh, paavni-aa. You get attached to the outside world, the misery even increases more than before. You can relate with this experience, every one of you who has gone to a club and danced all night to that music, then come home. The moment you sit in the car and start driving, you are empty. You can try that tonight. You can see that while you are in that noise, the body excitement is there. And you think you are enjoying. Well, that's fine. Now leave that excitement, start driving home and watch what happens to the inside. Look at the emptiness that you feel at that time. Now what? Oh, I have to go to the apartment. There's nobody in the apartment. I'm alone by myself. But I have to go home. The misery index has gone up, not down. That's why you keep running back again and again. Because it does not stay with you. The moment you come out, it drops. Misery index go up. Doojai, dukh, paavni-aa. Dukh means misery. जिद अंतर प्रीत लगे सो मुक्ता इंद्री वस सच संजम जुगता गुर के शब्द सदा हर ध्याए एहा भगत हर भावनिया. That's not how it's going to work. Let us help you. Here is the process. जिस अंतर प्रीत लगे. Antar means inside. See, spirituality only talks about inside. It has nothing to do with the outside. Outside will automatically follow. If there is a revolution in the inside, the outside will automatically follow. Jis antar, the one who has inside, what? Preet lage. Preet means the love affair with the Creator. So mukta. Mukta means to get freedom from the sensual delights. Detach from the outside world and attach yourself with the creative energy. For that, your basic requirement is indri vas. Indri means all the senses, all five senses. Vas, under your control. The day we are under the control of the senses, it needs to be reversed. You need to become control of the senses. How do you start that? Let me give you a practical example. If those of you say, how I do that? You get up in the morning and the body is going to say it's time for your morning tea. Tell him shut up. No morning tea for you. It's going to go into revolution. It's going to say, I am going to revolt. I can't open my eyes without my tea or my coffee. Your first test. Are you driven by your senses or you are driving the senses? Command it. Just command the very first sense. Don't complicate it. Don't make it any more. Just one sense. Sorry, no coffee today. And no matter what it does, don't feed it. I'm not saying you stop taking the coffee. I'm saying don't be under the command of the mind. You are sitting cross-legged and suddenly the leg says, I need to open myself, I am tired. Tell it to shut up. And it won't. You will say, it will urge you, open it. And you say, I am not opening it. What happens? What is the body movement? Ask any medical doctor. When I move my arm, these muscles are getting stretched and these muscles are getting shrunk. And now it wants to reverse the process. It wants to relax these muscles this way and stretch these muscles, right? Common sense. Whether the knee is crossed, arm is crossed, wrist is, it doesn't matter. Just tell these muscles, just stay there. And after a while, they'll stop telling you that we want to relax. That's what we call, my knee is locked now. I'm not asking you to lock your knees. I'm suggesting learn to command your body rather than being commanded by the body. There is a writer in the United States whose original name was Bob Alpert. He went to India and became a disciple of a yogi there. He came back, changed his name to Baba Ramdas, and he wrote some books on meditation. And he shares one of his experiences that he was sitting in the meditation and a honey bee flew in, sat on the arm and stung it. Now you can understand how painful that process is. Honey bee's sting is painful and poisonous. As soon as I stung it, and master was sitting right next to John Alpert, he picked his hand to scratch it and master yelled, said, stop! And he's hurting. He wants to scratch. And the master saying, don't touch it! It hurts. I know, I have been stung before. What is the solution? Watch. Watch what is happening. Move your mind away from whatever you're doing. Put your concentration on the place where the bee stung. And Baba Ramdas writes, the moment I started watching the sting, I'm watching how the poison of the bee is slowly spreading under my skin. And I'm observing, and I'm watching the skin growing up, it is swelling. After it had swelled as much it was going to swell, the pain went away. Without ever touching, without ever scratching. That stinging became the meditation. Because he is observing. Single pointed, watching the blood flow under the skin. This is called commanding the body, not being commanded by the body. Here the term is Indri Vas. the senses under control. Such sanjam jugta. Jugta means the technique. This is a real technique. Guru ke shabd sada har dhi-aa-ay, eha bhagat har bhaavni-aa. Stay with the word. Keep the mind on that word no matter what happens to the body. Don't let the mind wander. That's the meditation. That's the definition of meditation. Gurmukh bhagat jug chare hoi, horat bhagat na paaye koi, nanak naam gur bhakti paaye, gur charani chit laavani-aa. Look at the declaration. Gurmukh bhagat jug chare hoi. Jug chare means all through the stages of consciousness, of all the times, ever since that humanity came into existence, the real meditators have been there. They are here today. They were there. They will continue to be there. This planet is never without the true meditators. It's never empty. Buddhism believes, and Jainism, not Zenism, Jainism, one started by Mahavira and the others started by Gautama, the Buddha. Both of these institutions believe that this earth always have 24 enlightened souls, Buddhas, Brahmajanis. That count never comes down and never goes up. When one drops the body, another one gets enlightened right away. And the count remains the same. They believe it so much that if you visit Japan, you will find there is one temple in which there are 24 exactly same look-alike statues, each representing one enlightened soul. But they all look alike. All statues look exactly like. Why? Because they are all enlightened. We are not interested in the count, whether it's 24 or 24,000 is irrelevant. The message is, it is always there. If you are in search of it, you can find it. Gurmukh bhagat jug chare horat bhagat na paaye koi. Without this, you are never going to achieve it. It is not an accident. It is a conscientious effort. It is a conscientious choice. Nanak naam gur bhakti paaye. It is through the meditation, through bhakti, which is gur charani chit laavani. Put your mind, chetanta, chit means the awareness, the consciousness. Connect your consciousness with that single thought, single word, single message. Whatever that message is, it's not pointed out. If Allah is your message, stay with it. Stay connected with Allah. If Jesus your message is, stay connected with the Christ. If Buddha your message is, stay connected with the Soham. If Vedanta your message is, Sanatana your message is, stay connected with the Om. Don't be wandering around. Don't be shifting your consciousness from one to the other, one to the other. Just stay with Om. That's Sanatana. If you stay with that, Nanak naam gur bhakti paaye gur charani chit laavani. If your consciousness stays there, then you become worthy of His grace, His blessing. That's a hymn number 21 on page 121, 122. We'll take a pause here, and if there's any comments or questions, the lines are still open.